Hello everyone, my name is Harsh and I am 2026 GSoC contributor at Liquid Galaxy Labs. In this video, I will be sharing my journey about GSoC, answering some of the questions that were asked by other students to me in the last 2 days. I'll also share any tips or advice that I have, and I'll also in brief explain what is Liquid Galaxy and what my project is about. First of all, you must understand that if you are someone who just thinks that GSoC is a certificate that you want to achieve by any means, and by means I mean using AI blindly, you should leave. And if you are someone who is just here for the money or just for the GSoC tag because everybody is doing it, so you are just here to complete it anyhow, you should leave because you also ruin the visibility of genuine contributors and overload the mentors with your AI slop. So you all should leave. And if you are not someone like that, you should watch the next video. Let's begin. First, you should note that including me and all the other GSoC selected contributors, we are just selected for the program. So that does not mean that we all have finished GSoC. Our GSoC journey has only started. We still have to ideate and build the entire project for which we are selected. So there is a very long way to go. And first, let's understand what is open source before we understand what is GSoC. These are a few examples. I don't really believe in bookish definitions. You can read this. I just copy pasted it from Google. I am not good at making slides. So I'll show you some of the projects you might have used or heard about Postgres, Redis, React, Node.js, Git, VS Code. VS Code is not entirely open source, but a part of it is open source. You have Docker, Kubernetes, Linux. Then there are popular libraries and frameworks such as TensorFlow, Spark. So there is almost so much thing that has been made by the open source community, which is the backbone of today's world. In fact, the thing or the software that I'm using to show this presentation is also not MS Office, but it's an open source alternative for MS Office because my license had expired. So I switched to open source versions. It's really wonderful what the people in the open source community make and the knowledge that they carry. And the best thing is that they do all of this for free. So you are basically creating open source software for everyone and by everyone. You can download it, modify it, share it freely without any restrictions mostly. So that was open source. What is GSoC? It's an online program sponsored by Google that pays developers. Anybody could be a developer who is over the 18 years of age and who is eligible to work on projects for more than 12 weeks or sometime 12 weeks. It depends upon the size of your project. So there are three sizes, small, medium, and large. And the money also varies according to the size of your project. So participants are paired with mentors from established open source organizations and gain real world coding experiences and also get a generous stipend from Google and also recognition, like certificate sort of things. So it helps you for career building. Then it helps you with mentorship also because the mentors of open source communities are really smart and knowledgeable. Like my mentors are from Spain. Both of them are from Spain. Some of the mentors in my organization are from Germany also. Some are in Sweden. And recently, one of the mentors got a job at Google. So it's really inspiring and motivating to, see these people, very really smart people around you, and you also evolve along with them. So it's a very great experience. Then you get career advancement because your profile is a bit strengthened by the GSoC tag in your resume. It helps you with networking. It also like it's an open source program, so like as it I shouldn't have mentioned this point, but you are contributing in open source. So that goes without saying. The stipend in India ranges from 750 to $3,000. But you should remember it's not about the money, it's about the work you do. So just remember that. Now, a very popular question that I was asked is, am I fit for GSoC? What are the skills needed for GSoC? This comes especially from people who have just entered college, at least in my experience, and who are in first or second year of their bachelor's. So first, I'll say that you must have knowledge or experience in some kind of tech stack. It could be app development, web development, although I now don't really enjoy development. The reason I say this is that people claim to be developers just because they have AI access and they can build and deploy websites in just a few minutes. So that's really sad to see. But if you have good knowledge and depth knowledge about app development, web development, any one of these is also fine. Systems programming, operating systems, networking protocols, databases, Java, and so on. These are not limited. The work in open source is extremely vast. You just think of a tech stack or framework that you know, and there will be organizations who have projects around it. So just be good at whatever you do and find organizations based upon your skill and knowledge where you can contribute. Remember, you don't always have to be perfect because even when I joined Liquid Galaxy in October, not exactly joined, but when I started working for Liquid Galaxy in late October or November, it was a task-based process. So I had no idea what is Liquid Galaxy, but that didn't stop me from participating in Liquid Galaxy because the framework that they have for new contributors is such that you eventually will learn about Liquid Galaxy, setting it up, understanding how it works. So just keep your mind open, and even if you don't know something but you are really interested in it, you might have to take some more extra efforts, but you can learn anything. Even if you're selected for GSoC, it does not mean end of your learning. You always have to keep on learning. So if you are a fresher, learn things one at a time, learn everything well, and please do not rely upon AI. At least when you are in the learning phase, try to build things yourself and understanding how each and every line of the code works and what it does. And always take your time. You should not hurry, it would harm both you and the others. This is a wonderful website, an open source project which was created by somebody. I don't know the name, but let me show you. So this is the general GSoC timeline. It started around 4th December. The GSoC 2026 was announced. Then your organization applications, wherein organizations kind of pitch themselves to Google to get selected in GSoC. Once the results are announced for the org shortlisting, around 18th February 2026. March 16th to March 31st are the contributor applications. So basically, it means that from March 16th to March 31, you have to create a proposal. A proposal is a document where you write about yourself, your project, what you propose to build for the GSoC program, and how do you approach it for the coding phase with timelines. So let's go step by step. Let us look at this website. I also used this website for shortlisting. So it's you can shortlist organizations based upon what year they were participating in GSoC. You can also sort them by categories of your interest. You can sort by technologies, topics, everything. It's kind of a database for every organization in GSoC. If you go into one, let's go with Galaxy. So you can see uh, these are the years where it has participated in GSoC. It's almost 10 years now. The technologies that they are based upon, and every project that they had built in every GSoC program. So what you can do is around October or November, just go on this website and look at the organizations that have been participating in GSoC in last at least 2 3 years continuously, and you can shortlist organizations based upon your interest, filter out 2 3 organizations, and just start working with them because GSoC 2027 organizations would be announced in February, around February of 2027. Until then, nobody knows what orgs will be in GSoC. So that's why it's better to participate in orgs that have been coming in regularly. You can take a look at this website later. I'll share the link. Okay, now that's the first point, which is you should shortlist an organization based upon your interest. and keep working until February. When the orgs are announced, you can start working on your proposal after that. That does not mean that you stop contributing, just keep working hard till then. All the organizations have a communication channel. Generally, it's Discord or Slack, so just join it. And this is the most important thing, that being active in the channels is fine, but asking questions is another thing. You always have to read first. The reason why I say this is you have people who just keep on asking questions which are irrelevant. Let me give you a brief structure. Every organization has a code of conduct, has contribution guidelines, or has a certain kind of documentation which will explain you how the organization works, what are the rules of participating or contributing to the code base, what are the what is the code base, how it works, what are different modules of the code, how they work. Because open source projects can get really large, it's not possible for a single person to understand everything. So these documentations are well maintained by the organizations. So the first thing you must do before asking questions is read very carefully each and everything about the documentation and about the organization, and please read it very carefully from the beginning to the end, because if you're not reading and just asking the same things which have been answered very well in the documentations and the FAQ sections of their community, you just show that you are doing a favor to them by joining this community, and it's a big honor for them to have you. But trust me, it's not. I might sound harsh here, even though my name is Harsh, doesn't matter. So, but that's the truth, because it's really annoying. Like, even in my experience, I saw one or two people who joined Liquid Galaxy's Discord channel, and even though people shared links to the exact answers that they were seeking, they still kept asking, I did this, then what? I did A part, then what? I did B, then what? But everything from A to Z was mentioned in the documentations, and multiple people shared the links, they shared screenshots and all, yet they kept asking, what should I do now? So that's a very bad practice, because you should also note that mentors are also in these community channels, and they are reading everything, what you speak, what you do, the way you say, the way you ask questions, everything is being observed. So it does not mean that if you are in a channel and you have the access to type, you just keep on asking. You should always do your homework first, and after you have done that, I would encourage you to ask a lot of questions after you have done all the reading part and you have done your own research. Because in my personal experience, the community of open source has been the kindest people that I have ever seen. People are really helpful, genuinely helpful. If you ask the right questions in the right manner, they would also help you out by, coming on a short call, or they might share you links of documentations that you must read, or some interesting articles that you could read to improve yourself. They are very kind, polite, and helpful. If you do your part, which is reading and doing your own research, after that, I would highly encourage you to be active in the communities, help answer questions that junior contributors or the newer contributors might have. Always help everyone, because in the end, we are all here to learn something new. And after doing that, yeah, stay active in the community, help everyone, ask questions, ask the right questions. You should not be afraid of asking questions, because I said all this, because you only learn you only learn by asking. So once that is done, let's talk about my journey. Before that, let's talk about Liquid Galaxy. Liquid Galaxy is kind of an open source multi-display visualization system which was originally developed by Google for Google Earth or Google Maps. I'm not sure. I should have read that. But currently it uses Google Earth for visualization. So it's kind of a collection or cluster of monitors, and each of these monitors belong to an independent computer. They all have their displays synced, and you can run Google Earth on it to visualize different things using something called as keyhole markup language, which is like annotating on the earth. So currently there is also a trend of using 3D KMLs in Liquid Galaxy, and right now the focus is also on using AI for creating some wonderful visualizations. So that's a brief overview about Liquid Galaxy, but if you are really interested, I would encourage you to go on the GSoC website or the Liquid Galaxy's website to read more about it. It's really amazing what they do. And my university had also opened a lab at our campus with collaboration of Liquid Galaxy. So that's also wonderful because we get to use it in real life as well. So I started looking for organizations in, I think it was around mid or November, October end. I had just finished Hacktoberfest. I'll explain what that is in the end. And around November start, I took some time to shortlist organizations based upon my skills and interests, but because one person does not know everything. So you cannot contribute to every organization. You will understand that in the next slide. It took me around 2 weeks along with my college and other responsibilities that I had to do. And finally I shortlisted two or three organizations. It was a bit annoying because I had to do a lot of reading, and because of my short attention span, it was a bit tiring mentally. But after I did my reading, I shortlisted a few organizations, and then finally I realized that I might not have the time to contribute to multiple organizations because of some other responsibilities that I had in college. So I went all in with Liquid Galaxy and did the tasks that were given by the organizations. I also built a few projects for Liquid Galaxy, and I was also trying my best to be active on the community Discord. Since I'm chronically online, it was not hard for me. Then I took part in Gemini Summer of Code. This was a competition which was hosted by the Liquid Galaxy itself for the fellow wannabe contributors, where we had to build some stuff for Liquid Galaxy. And I participated in that, and I also hosted a lot of presentations. It was a new thing for me, but uh, it was a system where the mentors at Liquid Galaxy would judge you based upon the conversation skills or your presentation skills. So they would ask you to perform some tasks and then present it yourself. Then there were also some kind of presentations where you have to read or learn about some topic and then teach it to other students of the Liquid Galaxy community. So there are multiple presentations. You can check them all out. I'll add the link in description if I remember to add it. But yeah, there were a lot of presentations that we did. And I also did one presentation with the mentors of Liquid Galaxy. So that was something really interesting and fun. It also was a bit helpful for me to being able to interact with the mentors at an early stage. So that was good. That's why everybody must stay active in the community, because in the end it's mentors with whom you will be working with. So they should know who you are. Good or bad, they should know all of it, and then it's up to them to judge and select you for GSoC. So Gemini Summer of Code. Then comes this proposal period. So it was around February 18th, I think, when Liquid Galaxy was selected for 2026 GSoC. But since it had been selected for so many years, most of us were sure that they might also be selected in 2026. So that's that. And actually, one mistake that I made was I submitted the proposal for feedback a bit late. So let me talk about proposals first. In a proposal, you first write your introduction and what you are, who you are, not what you are, or where do you study, or what do you do. And if you're a student, then probably you study. Most of us don't, but you write all that. Then you mention your technical skills and any relevant work experience that you might have. Then the main part of the proposal is the project which you want to work on and your approach towards the project, technical implementation, UI mockups and all. Every organization has its own format or template of proposals generally. For example, Liquid Galaxy allowed only 5 pages of text in the proposal, and other things were visualizations, diagrams, and mockups for the project that we want to propose. Some other organizations There are students submitting 50 pages of text, but due to AI, Liquid Galaxy had limited it to 5 pages. So you must always do your homework. As I said, read, read, and read. They have written everything. They have also shared a template maybe for the proposals. So do your homework and make a proposal. I would recommend you to submit the proposal a bit early for feedback of the mentors. You don't directly submit on the GSoC portal. Okay, by the way, since I've mentioned GSoC portal has almost everything that you need to know for GSoC, the timeline, organizations being shortlisted, what's the process, what's the stipend, everything in detail. Just go there and read. I'll add that as well in the description. There is a lot to add in description now. So yeah, I would recommend you to submit a proposal for feedback to your mentors and do that a bit early, because once March begins, they are flooded by hundreds of proposals, if not thousands, if it's a popular organization. Then they do not have the time to give you feedback. So please submit it a bit early. I think I was a bit late. I should have submitted it earlier, but I'm selected, so it's fine. It turned out well. But submit it beforehand. They will suggest you some changes, maybe in implementation or the project that you must go with. If you are a good contributor, they might say that there is already some person who is better for this project, so you must change it to some other project. So such things can happen, but it depends upon the organizations and the mentors. So I won't say much about it, but be active, that's all. So this is a generic roadmap for GSoC only. Please note that open source does not mean GSoC. GSoC is just a program for promoting open source. Open source is something that goes on 24/7, 365. It is just out of interest and out of willingness that some kind people around the world are building some really crazy things that almost every big tech company is depending upon. So it's amazing, and it's a very long journey, I would say, open source in general. But if you are just here for GSoC, because the title and thumbnail also says GSoC, and GSoC is a bit trending. You start around October or November for GSoC. This is my recommendation. And the reason why I say this is there is a lot of competition these days, especially there are Indians everywhere. I don't know, I don't understand why, but it's flooded. Sometimes I have seen in some other organizations, not Liquid Galaxy. Liquid Galaxy has been really kind and helpful, but there are some other organizations where contributors from some other countries often criticize Indians for creating AI slop in the code base, and they just flood the mentors with pull requests. So please don't do that. This is why Liquid Galaxy really has an interesting approach. They don't really ask for pull requests. They ask you to do a series of tasks and then present it to the mentors. They also upload it on the YouTube. So this is a very unique and fun way in which you learn as well as teach. So it's beneficial, in my opinion. But most of the organizations have a flow where you need to create some X amount of pull requests to be eligible for GSoC in their organization. And the quality of your pull requests, what the code you write, what is your understanding, the impact of your work, everything matters, because these are real world softwares or hardware that people use. It's not just a regular college project that you can show it to your faculties and then just throw it away. People will be using your work for many, many years to come, and it must be good. So start in October or November, keep working on the code base. If they ask for pull requests, create some really good pull requests. Quality is better than quantity. If they have some other series of tasks like Liquid Galaxy, do them. Understand the code base, understand how it all works. Create an identity for yourself in the community so that everybody knows who you are. And after that, starting in October, November, find organizations first that you have the skills or short at, or if you're willing to learn something new and in depth. know your weaknesses. The reason why I say this is, if it's March already and you are a web developer, it's highly likely that you cannot really dive into some systems programming or operating system based organization, because that does not make any sense. First of all, you might not have any understanding of how it all works at low level, and it might not be even possible for you to create an impact or an image in the community. So know where you stand weak and where you stand strong, and select an organization. Of course, you have the time. You should go ahead, and all the best to you. You must work really hard. That's all. It does not mean that you cannot do anything. You just have to keep working hard. So after that, contribute in organizations, review code bases, review pull requests, ask some good questions, uh, basically just work in that organization for some time and show the mentors what you're capable of. Comms here refers to communication, good and clear communication of what you are doing or what you're working on matters. Keep everybody up to date. Be kind, help others, review code maybe. We are all here to learn. Then around January to March, start working on your proposal. I think it should be February to March. In fact, just February, you should start working on a proposal, a good proposal, send it to mentors, ask their review and feedback, and keep them updated. And after that, it's just you and the mentors. It's your communication and what they suggest. You just make the changes, and then March comes, submit your proposal in March, and then I think that even then I would recommend you to keep contributing to the organization and keep working, because it's finally the mentors who might have an impact on your selection. And more than selection, it's your self responsibility to contribute to open source. You must not be selfish if you are genuinely interested in open source. So keep working hard, and in April your proposals would be reviewed in April, and then final shortlists might be announced in the end of April. Like, this is the general timeline. It differs from year to year, maybe by a few days. Thank you. That was all for my presentation and this video, I think. Remember, the goal of GSoC is to promote open source culture. It's just the beginning of a very long path. Then, yeah, this is another question that people had asked me. What are alternatives of GSoC? Uh, if somebody was rejected this year, or someone was interested but they don't know, they don't have any idea of open source, I think Hacktoberfest is a great way to get started with open source. In fact, even I was a Hacktoberfest contributor in 2025. It's similar to GSoC, but it does not pay. That's the only difference. And the projects are a bit smaller. It's a free and open program for everybody that happens in the month of October every year. And it's a meaningful program, I think. And then you also have European Summer of Code. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is a stipend in European Summer of Code as well. It's also another open source program. You also have Girl Script Summer of Code, and it does not have anything to do with girls. Like, everybody can participate in it. So don't go with the name. There are many other programs for open source. You are just one Google search away from it. So just do your own research. And again, I would say read. That's it for my video. Thank you for watching.